Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, we're on the air? Okay, we're live. Let's get this conversation started. Hello and good evening. Welcome to the premiere broadcast of the Passion Talk radio show on the Tribal Wisdom Radio Network. I am your host, Kim Duncan, an entrepreneur, business coach, radio host, and a hell of a nice guy, which is in contrast to the guest that I have coming on today. He's the self-described bad boy of the dating game, but we're going to get to him in a second. I want to spend as much time with him as I possibly can. But I wanted to give you a little bit of information about the show. We're going to be coming to you live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The number, if you want to be a part of the show, is area code 347-996-3160. That's one more time, 347-996-3160. And when you get on hold, just press 1 to let us know that you want to be a part of the show. And as far as the show goes, really, it's just a conversation between you, me, and the guests that we're going to have on each week. And the whole goal of the show is to have a real conversation about the things that really matter to you in your life. You know, love life and the things that matter. And as we go from week to week, we'll we'll dig deep and kind of figure out exactly what that means. And we really just want to help you improve your life and the life that, you know, you're trying to live. So with that in mind, we're going to switch over because I want to really get to our guest. I want to keep him holding too long. He's a busy guy. I'm going to bring on Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. Hello?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, man?
What's good, my brother, man? Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, so rather than read your bio, I'm just going to basically just start with one question. What haven't you done?
What haven't I done?
What haven't you done?
Because I know I've done too many things.
Well, let's just list some of them because when I read your bio, because I knew of you before we got connected, but I didn't really know everything. And then when I read your bio, I was like, wow. So let's just list some of them: dating coach, life coach, entrepreneur, business owner, rapper, entertainer, author, blogger, TV star, YouTube star. I mean, I could go on, but I think I just really, at this point, got to just say, you know, is there something, you know, leave something for the rest of us mere mortals to do?
Now, you know, it's like when you got the passion to do certain things, you just gotta, you know, you gotta do it, but you also gotta focus, you know, on a one thing at a time, you know, in most cases to do it efficiently, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, when I'm doing one thing, I'm just focused on that. When I'm doing the other thing, I'm focused on that. So, you know, that's how you got to make it happen.
Okay, all right. Well, so we're going to dig into that because I like what you said about passion and, you know, really doing something that you're really passionate about. That's my whole deal. But just so the listeners, just tell us, you know, a little bit about yourself and, you know, kind of what you're all about. What's your deal?
Yeah, so, I'm a dating and life coach, and, you know, I basically help people with their dating lives, just their life in general, about them finding exactly what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. You know, that could be either through, you know, dating or relationships, or that could be through goal setting and everything like that, and just kind of, you know, help guide them in the direction to really get what they want. Because a lot of times people, you know, they get confused by, you know, certain things that happen that go along, you know, in society, because society is always telling people, hey, you know, you need to do this or you need to do that, and then people start to follow what society's telling them to do instead of following what they want to do. So I kind of, you know, I try to help people hone in onto what they really are about, and then try to help them, you know, get that. You understand? Because it's like a lot of people have a hard time trying to do that because they're so caught up in what they feel that they're supposed to do based off of what society's telling them to do. So, you know, I just try to get people focused on their own goals and their own, you know, things that they're trying to get done.
Okay, I feel that. But so now, the title, the self-described title, "Bad Boy of the Dating Game," where does that come from?
Yeah, so basically, I call myself the bad boy of the dating game because, when we talk about dating and relationships, especially, people, they know the concept of the nice guy, and then the opposite of that is the bad boy. And usually people think the bad boy is like the jerk, or the guy who's like a douchebag or whatever. But the thing is that the bad boy really is just the guy who's being himself. Because when you look at the bad boy versus the nice guy, a nice guy or a guy that's, acting nice, he's just doing that to impress a woman. He's doing that to, try to get a woman to like him. So he's not being authentic. So the bad boy is they usually attract women, not because they're jerks or whatever, but they seem more authentic and more real than the other counterparts. So I say the bad boy of the dating game also to express that, in the dating game, and even just with relationship coaches and dating coaches, there's a lot of coaches out there who they just pander to what people want to hear. You know what I mean? They don't really tell you the real stuff and the truth about what's going to really work in real life. So I try to focus really on the truth and really, and basically reality of the game and what's realistically going on, because I feel like that's going to really help you versus, just trying to say something to sound cool or trying to say something just to make you feel good. There's nothing wrong with feeling good, but I'd rather you be good than just feel good. You understand? And I work on people being good and actually, getting things done and making things happen. So that's where the bad boy comes in.
Okay. So now you're a dating coach. Do you work with exclusively men? Do you work with exclusively women? Would you help both?
Oh yeah, I help both men and women. So, I have books for women, I have books for men, programs for men, programs for women. So, I help basically everybody because, everybody needs a little bit of, help with whatever they're doing. So I like to, help both genders and everything like that.
And how did you get into this?
Yeah, because, basically what happened was, I'm all like, I used to do a lot of, rapping and the acting thing. And, that was like my main thing I was doing. And, I was making a little bit of money here and there, but it wasn't anything consistent. So I said, I got to do something that I still like to do, but is, I can be, probably try to make some consistent money off of it. Plus, the plus side of this is that I'm actually helping people. So I was like, my friend who is also my business partner, he was telling me, he was like, hey, you're good with talking to ladies. You should help guys do that, because I was kind of helping my friends do that in the first place just as a hobby. So he was like, you should do it for real. So I just started really by just doing YouTube videos, and then through that I was getting a lot of emails from guys, asking me for advice, and then I started writing, articles online, and then that turned into books, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. So it was just basically like, understanding like actually, I had a passion for, talking about relationships and helping people and doing all the other stuff. So I just took that passion and turned it into, business. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's helped a whole bunch of people. So I'm actually glad that I, took it upon myself to really follow through and, make that happen.
Okay, good. So now, who do you find needs the most help? Is it men or is it women?
Wow, it's interesting. It's like, I think like both sexes need help a lot, but I would say like I think both people need help, like a lot of help, but just on different things. I think, men need more help with being a little bit more assertive and confident, and women need more help with, basically being less scared of taking chances. Like, I notice with ladies, it's like a lot of times their mistake is being just way too cautious and too scared because based off of maybe something that happened to them in their past, or, they're scared of like getting hurt, like different things like that. And for guys, it's just like a big like confidence issue where it's like a lot of guys don't believe that, they can actually go out and talk to women, or that there's certain women that's going to like them, so it's like, so for each, gender, it's like different types of things that they need help on. But, I think once people start to like, work on themselves and really like hone in on what they need to fix and upgrade, then it's going to, things start to happen for them,
Gotcha. So when someone comes to work with you, what's the process? How do you help them? Is it kind of like the movies, like a movie like Hitch, where you kind of take a guy and kind of shape him and help him learn how to dress and talk and dance and all that stuff? Right. Is it like that, or is it something else? Tell us, kind of give us an idea of what it's like to work with you.
Yeah, so I basically, like, if I take on a client, I invite basically everybody. If you actually want help, I will help you. But the thing is that you really need to want to do it. Like, some people, they say they want the help, but then it's like when they realize that they might have to put a little bit of effort in, or, they might have to, like, start doing different things, they kind of say, okay, I wasn't really ready for that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, once you're ready, then you can come back and we can work on, certain things. But basically, if a person, needs help, like, let's say, for example, I had a client who, his thing was he just had approach anxiety. He was always scared to talk to women. When we would talk to women, he would freeze up. So, I was telling him, like, I can help you with that and help you with some exercises and help you gain confidence, help you, do whatever we need to do to, make you step that up. So the thing was is that he was willing to actually go there and make it happen. See, the thing is that I'm just like the person who's helping guide along. Like, it's really the person that's going to be the one who's going to help themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like it's them needing to want to do it. So if they don't want to do it, it's not gonna. They're wasting their time. You know what I mean? So it's like if they need to actually really be serious about doing it. It's the same thing as if, let's say, if somebody wanted to lose weight and they got a personal trainer. If you go to the gym but you don't want to lift any weights, there's nothing the personal trainer could really help you with. They can encourage you to lift the weights. They can tell you how much benefits there's going to be and, tell you different exercises for the best type of workout. But if you don't lift up the weights, then nothing's going to happen. You see what I mean? So the person actually has to really want the help and to want to make things happen and want to make, to better themselves. So it's like I always just take on people, but I tell them, like, hey, it's, you have to be the type of person that wants to really get the help. You know what I mean? And I can help you with that. So that's how that
Have you had any... Have you, like, what's your biggest success story? Have you gotten, someone married? Have you, got someone, like, totally turned around and they just, like, really came out of their shell and they've met the woman or the man of their dreams? What's, like, the biggest success story?
Definitely. Actually, I had a guy who just got married in October, who I introduced him to the woman he's married to now, you know what I'm saying? So, and I used to help him out, with getting girls and everything like that. And, there's certain guys who, I actually had a guy who was a virgin and he was in his 30s, he only kissed like one girl before. And, through helping him, he was able to get a girlfriend. Now he's having sex and all that other good stuff now. And, so that's been basically helping him out. And, I had a girl that I was working with who she never had a boyfriend. She was a really beautiful girl and everything like that, and she never really had a boyfriend. She wanted a boyfriend and everything. And her issue was that she kind of just didn't, have any hobbies or anything like really, going on that was, more interesting than just her being pretty. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys, they would want to get with her, but then she didn't really have anything going for her. So I kind of helped her figure out like what is it about her that she's interested in to find out, what her interests are. And then through that, she actually, we found out that she actually likes art and likes painting or whatever. And through that, she actually found a dude who was interested sort of in the same thing she was. And then things progressed through that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's a lot of times the successes, it comes about when, again, like I was saying earlier, when the people want to actually, do what they need to do to make it happen. So, there's a lot of, little stories like that here and there. And I'm always glad when I can see that people are getting help, and I get, emails and, calls and stuff like that from people that always tell me, that things are working out. So, it's always a good thing.
Oh, so you work on from the inside out. You really kind of get the person to dig deep and find what's really true about them, as opposed to, some people may know about the pickup artist game, or with guys, there's a lot of programs out there where they teach guys, and I'm assuming there may be some programs out there for women that teach women how to really just go and do pickup lines or do certain tricks or routines to get attention and get dates. You kind of take a more holistic approach. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yeah, definitely, and
Okay.
that's the thing I try to tell people, because a lot of people are not aware of the difference between like just a pickup artist and an actual like coach that deals with dating, relationships, and just overall personal development. So that's what I focus on, is the overall personal development. So the pickup artist, it's nothing technically wrong with that, but pickup artist is more so geared toward just having sex. You know what I mean? So that's like their whole thing is that thing. You know what I mean? And I focus more on the personal development overall, where it's like it can be sex and dating, relationships, goal setting. Like, so it's a lot of different things combined with that. And I always feel like the best way to really make that happen is it's really internal. Like, you have to have yourself feeling and believing in yourself in order for you to even get things done. Because I can tell you, a little routine or some lines that you could probably say, but if you don't feel it, if you don't believe what you're saying, it's not going to come across. You understand? It's kind of like, I always look at it as like if you're watching an actor on screen. Like, when you see a bad actor, it kind of takes you out of the movie. You're focusing on how bad they're acting, so you can't really feel what they're saying. But a good actor, a person who's a great actor, they feel the role, they feel the character, and they become that character, so they actually believe what they're saying as if they are that character. You know what I mean? So they have this thing where they get this internal belief as the actor to portray that action. So then when you're watching it on screen, you can feel them because they're actually becoming that character. So it's the same thing where if you are a person who's, insecure, I can tell you, some line to say, but then your insecurity is going to be all over your actions when you're talking. So it's like, I have to get you to the point where you actually believe who you are and believe what you're about and believe, in yourself, and you're comfortable with yourself. So no matter what you're saying, it's going to come across authentic, it's going to come across real, and the people are going to feel it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what it's really about. And a lot of people, don't realize that it's really about the internal. You know what I mean? It's a lot about working on yourself. And, there's like techniques and different things you can learn, but most of those things aren't going to be really be effective unless you work on the inside first. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Okay, all right, and that makes sense. That's really, and that's a better approach. And
right.
That's something that I use when I coach people. That's the kind of the same approach I use. It's really, you got to kind of deal with what's internal and what's kind of blocking them from achieving the success that they want.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
So we're talking with dating coach and bad boy of the dating game, Mr. Locario. If you want to speak to him, the area code to be a part of the show is area code 347-996-3160. Area code 347-996-3160. And you're going to press 1 to get online with us. So, Locario, let's jump into the meat of today's program, which is, 10 rules for successful dating. Now, dating is a complicated theme. There are, obviously a bunch of people out there dating, some people doing more dating than others. And, there are rules to it, and some people don't know. So what, in your experience, are the 10 best things that people should really look out or do or not do to be successful in dating?
Right. Well, I say one of the things people need to, understand is to kind of get your ego out of the equation. And I think a lot of people's egos stop them from, connecting with people, stops them from having good relationships. It stops them from, it doesn't flow because your ego gets in the way of things happening. So, for example, somebody might, a guy might want to talk to a girl, but since he's scared of rejection, or he's scared that she's going to reject him, he might not do it because his ego won't be able to take it. He might feel funny, like, oh, well, there's something wrong with me, and why did she do that? And I was all dressed nice, and I did this and I did that. So his ego might even stop him from talking to her. And then if he does talk to her and then she does get rejected, his ego is also going to get him all messed up, because now he's going to feel all bad. And then if he sees another girl he wants to talk to, he might not talk to her because his ego is all crushed and everything. So now, that it's like this big cycle of him, feeling insecure because he's taking everything personally. He's making it, he's making the process a part of who he is. You understand? Instead of understanding that this is part of the game. You know what I mean? This is why they actually, call it the dating game. A lot of people, they think that when they hear game, they're like, I don't want to play games, but it's still a game, because the thing is that when you talk about game, all you're talking about is skill and strategy, and all you're doing is working on your skill and strategy to benefit from the game. You understand? So it's the same way as if you're trying to start a business. Like, there's certain things you need to know in business to have a successful business, and that's the business game. So it's like, if you want to be successful at the business game, you have to have a specific skill and strategy that's going to work for you in order to make that happen. And so with a person who has a big ego, that's going to it's going to basically stop them from progressing and making things happen, because they're taking everything too personally. They're attaching their emotions to the outcome of things and all that other stuff. So one of them, I would say, is people's egos kind of get in the way of them actually making things happen.
Okay. All right. Give me another one.
Another one I would say is, I would say this for women, is that to stop being too picky. And I especially with women. Especially with women will be way too picky. And it's the thing is with and I kind of mentioned this earlier, is that a lot of times women are picky because there's this thing where they're trying to protect their emotions and their heart and all that other stuff. You understand? So it's like they want a man, but they're being so picky because they want this like right guy. They want the right guy. They want the perfect guy. They want the guy who's not going to cheat on them, who's not going to hurt them and all this other stuff, who's not going to play them, who's not going to, bring that energy that's probably going to make them feel a certain way. But I always tell women, if you want to find the right dude, you're going to have to go through some guys who are probably like, cornballs, or guys who are going to like act stupid or play you. You understand? Like, that's part of it. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to accept that part of the dating game to get to the good guy. If you're lucky, you might find that good guy instantly. You understand? That there's going to be times where you're going to have to go through certain, knuckleheads. You understand? So that you're going to have to like pass through in order to get that good guy, because everybody you meet, might not turn out to be the right type of dude for you, or it might not work, but that's part of the process. So I always tell women, and I always tell women, don't be too picky, because what happens is, since they're scared of trying to meet those type of guys, they end up being so picky that they end up with less and less options to date men. You understand? And when you have less options, then that's less likely that you're going to find the right guy. So I always tell women, instead of being picky, be a little bit more open. So when you're open, then you are open to more opportunities, and then it's a better chance of you actually finding the right guy. You see what I mean? So being picky, it makes it worse.
Okay, so let me just kind of reframe that. So what you're saying to the women, it's not just accept any Joe Schmo that comes along and says, hey baby, let me get you, look good, let me get your number. But you don't want to eliminate everyone, that doesn't have a certain look, or doesn't drive a certain car, or is maybe not, at a certain job. You want to kind of be open, because, that person may turn out to be someone that is right for you, or it will help you to refine your selection process and know who's better for you down the road. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. That's definitely what it is. That's definitely what it is. I always tell women that it's something. It's always better to be a little bit more open, because then you give yourself a bigger, wider range to also understand yourself, because while you're going through this, you start to understand yourself more through these interactions. Because the thing is, this is very important, that I think most people need to know, is that a lot of times you don't really know what you want, and this goes for men and women. A lot of times you don't really know what you want until you experience things. You understand? So once you experience things, then you have a different perspective, because you might say, I wanted, A, B, and C, and then you get A, B, and C, and then you see how you feel why you got A, B, and C, and you say, you know what, I'm not really too cool with A, B, and C, because now you've experienced A, B, and C, but before you've experienced it, A, B, and C was just a thought. You understand? It was just like a projection of what you think, of what you thought you wanted. Then you got it, and you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling this right now. So experience is very important, and the thing is that, when we was talking earlier about women being a little more open, when you open yourself, you experience more, and then that teaches you more of, it gives you a better perspective. It gives you a wider perspective on what you want and what you don't want. You see what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I like that. I like that thing what you said about, not really knowing what you want until you experience it. And yeah, I've experienced that myself, so that one hit kind of close to home. Let's move on. Number 3. Number 3, what you got?
Right. I would definitely, and also I think the third thing I would say for dating is, and this I guess goes more for the guys, I would say, don't spend too much money on the first couple dates. And that's like a problem. That's a problem I see most guys doing, and I'm like, it doesn't make any type of sense to spend so much money on the first couple days. I actually came up with this rule where, I say the first 3 dates should be like $10 or less. That's usually my rule for dating. $10. Yes, and I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, I can literally feel a bunch of women right now giving you the side eye. So
I know exactly.
Explain that was really, really good, because I'm sure your method works, but let's explain that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people looking at us right now sideways.
Right, because this is the thing, like, when you're dating, right? When you're first dating someone and you're getting to know them, the actual point of the date really is to get to know them. That's it, like to get to know the person. You understand? So what happens is that people get so blinded by, what this person's buying me, where this person took me, and all this other stuff. And so it is, especially, men are expected to be the ones, who's going to put up some money, right? So let's say if you're expected to put up money and to spend money, just to get to know this woman, right? Make the amount of money you're spending less, because what it might happen is you might go on a date with this woman and realize you don't even like her. You understand? Or she doesn't like you. You understand? So imagine if you're dating and you have 3 dates this week, right? And you're a guy, you have 3 dates this week. Instead of paying, usually guys will pay like $40 or $50 for a date. You have 3 dates. You pay $50 each date. That's $150 you spend on dates that week, versus if you only spent $10 on the date, that was only $30 you spent. You understand? So imagine you went on those 3 dates and, it just wasn't working out on those 3 dates. So you instead of spending $150, you would have spent $30. Now, I always tell guys, once a woman becomes your girlfriend or a woman that you've been seeing for a while, then I feel like, you can spend more and do some more extravagant stuff. But while you're actually going through the process of getting to know women, because, I always tell guys this also is that you have to date a lot of women to actually find out what you want or what you're feeling. So, while you're going through this process, you're going to be going out and dating this girl and dating that girl. And it doesn't make sense to shell out all this money for something that might not happen, something that might not be that connection. You understand? And especially since the date is also to see if you guys connect, that's the most important part. And also what happens is that there's so many women out there that actually will date guys just to get a free meal or just for attention. So the thing is that it eliminates the women who are doing that. Or then you have women who will just date you for your money. So if a woman really likes you, she's not going to care if you took her out to get some ice cream. You know what I mean? Like, I actually had a date one time where I took this girl to the laundromat for our date, because she called me up and I said, hey, she was like, she wanted to hang out. So I said, listen, I got to do my laundry. And I was like, you're welcome to join me. So we went and did my laundry, and we were hanging out. We were talking. We was having a good time. We went to go get I bought like 2 bottles of water. We're sitting there watching the clothes spin, talking, having a good time. And me and her, we were dating for almost a year. After that, you know what I mean? Because we got to know each other, we saw that we was connecting, and it didn't matter. She didn't care we were at a laundromat because she came to see me. not my money, not where I was taking her. It was me. You see what I'm saying? And that shows that the girl is really into you. And if a girl is really into a guy, she doesn't care what they're doing. A lot of times when women complain about, oh, he spent this and he's so cheap and all of that, is because they're not really into the guy. What they're into is the attention that they're getting from that guy. So it's very important that the guy spends a lot of money because she's not into him. You see what I'm saying? So with the interest in the person eliminates how much money is being spent. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I would say, spend as little as you can until, later on, if the girl is your girlfriend, she becomes your girlfriend or your wife, then you can spend whatever, because at that point, she's earned a spot in your life to where she's not, going to basically be taking advantage of you, for your money or your time or whatever. So at that point, she's proven herself to be, a girl that you would want to actually spend a lot of time and money on if you choose to. You see what I mean?
Now, when you coach women, do you coach them to really accept that as the premise for the first 3 dates? Like, don't try to hook up with a guy or meet up with a guy that's going to spend a lot of money on you, or
right. Yeah, I tell women to focus. I tell women to focus just on the guy, because a lot of times women are, there's a lot of women who are focused on the external stuff that happened, or they focus on the money and on the other stuff that doesn't really matter. It's kind of like, let's say, for example, if you got sick and you needed to be rushed to the hospital, right? And somebody was like, "Hey, come in my car. I'll take you in my car." And they had a beat-up station wagon. Would you get mad that their car is a beat-up station wagon instead of a BMW? No. The thing that you need to get is to the hospital. That's the most important part, is that you're getting transportation to the hospital. So that's the most important part. So when you're on a date, the most important part is getting to know the person. So it doesn't matter if they spend $10 on you or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So I always tell women that if you're focusing on the money and what they spend, then you missed the point and you missed a connection. You missed making a connection because you were so worried about how much they were spending. And what happens is a lot of women actually equate the amount of money a man's spending on them to their desire for them. So they feel like, there's a lot of women who might feel that if you spend less, that means you don't like me. You understand? Which is false. You see what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I always tell women to get out that type of mindset, that mindset,
All right, so it's about the connection. Okay, I got that. That makes perfect sense. All right, what's the next? What else you got?
I would say the another one would be, don't be afraid of rejection. And I think that goes for men and women. I think a lot of times, and this kind of goes with the ego thing, is that people are so scared to make a move, or they're scared to continuously pursue a relationship because of rejection. So, for example, a guy, he might see a woman he likes, and he's so scared to talk to her because he's scared of her saying no. A woman might go out with a guy, and I've heard this a lot with women, where they'll go out with a guy and they'll really like him, but then they won't call him back or, follow through, because they're scared that if they do follow through, then the guy will see them again, and they'll probably have sex, and then he'll never call her again. So they're like, instead of going through all of that emotional distress of the fact that he's not calling you after he had sex with you or whatever, they'll just drop the whole issue because they're scared of the rejection. You understand? So the thing is, but I always tell people that, rejection is part of the process. That's the process of dating. Like, everyone's going to get rejected. You can't run away from it. All you need to do is accept it. As soon as you accept it, then you'll be fine. But the thing is that people are trying to find ways, and I even have people that come up to me and ask me this. They'll be like, is there a way is there a technique, or is there some thing that you can do so that you cannot get rejected? You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like, no, you can't do that. It has to happen. You understand? It's like the same way of saying, how can I make the omelets without cracking the egg? You can't do it. It's part of the process. So there's going to be people, because, in rejection, it comes in, it's different reasons why people reject you. And this is why I always tell people not to take it personally. Because, if somebody might reject you because they have a boyfriend or girlfriend already. Somebody might reject you because they're a lesbian, or, they're a homosexual and they don't like your gender. You know what I mean? Like, they like the same
sex. Right.
You know what I mean? So you
don't know why they're rejecting you. You're just afraid of the rejection, right? Now, speaking of rejection, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What are you saying?
No, I was saying, speaking of rejection, are you a proponent, or do you encourage women to approach guys or do you prefer to have the guys approach the females?
Yeah, I definitely encourage women to approach men. I say, like, I always look at it, if you want something, you should go and try to get it. Because, the thing is that, especially, I think if this was like probably like 50 years ago or something, it wouldn't be an issue. Like, women wouldn't even have to worry about, approaching men, because most of the guys, they'll just automatically do it. You know what I mean? But nowadays, in modern times right now, it's a whole different ball game. So I always tell women that they should also approach men if they like the guys, because a lot of times in this day and age, a lot of guys aren't approaching women as much as they used to, because firstly, you got a lot of guys who are still scared of rejection, so they're not going to approach you. And women think that sometimes, since the guy's not you're not approaching them, women think that the guy doesn't like them, but that's not true. Some guys are just nervous. But also, I don't know if you heard of this, like, they have this whole street harassment movement where they're trying to stop guys from talking to women in the street, and they're shaming them, like stuff like that. So you have that in the atmosphere. So guys are even more nervous to approach, because they feel shame about it. They feel like, I might be bothering her, or I don't want to come off as this or come off as that. So, you have all these things that's making it even tougher for men to, like, go and approach women. So I say, and that's going to affect how many guys are going to approach the woman. So if she might see a guy, and she might be smiling at him or whatever, and he's not going to come approach you because he doesn't want to be accused of street harassment. You see what I mean? So I say to women, hey, this is the environment we living in. So if you see a guy that you want to talk to, you can also go and talk to him. You don't always have to wait for him to talk to you. And sometimes a guy, he might not be interested, or he might reject you because, he might be gay, he might have a girlfriend, or, you might even just not be his type. You're not everybody's type, and that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? And, everybody's not your type, and it's okay. You know what I mean? So you just move on to another person. But again, people are, men and women, they're just really afraid of rejection because they take it personally. They always, like, every time a person gets rejected, they always say, oh, it's because I suck. It's because I'm ridiculous. And what I always found funny is that, you ever notice when a person gets with somebody, they always say, like, if a guy gets with a girl, they're like, oh, wow, I got lucky, right? But if they get rejected, it's because it's their fault. You understand? It's like, when it's something, when I get rejected, it's my fault. But when I get with somebody, I got lucky. Why is that? You see what I mean? That's the way we think. You see what I mean? And that's what I'm saying with the mindset, So people got to be, cognizant of that.
Gotcha. Okay, let's moving on. What's next? What's another rule for successful dating?
I would say that another rule is to, and this is important, to be comfortable with the type of person you are. And I think, this is a reason why most people have trouble in relationships generally, is because they're not comfortable with who they are, and they're always trying to change who they are to fit into something. Like, you'll have guys who, they'll try to get with a girl, and they'll try to pretend to be, a certain type of guy, or act a certain way, or dress a certain way to attract a certain type of female. And then you have even women who will, pretend to be, a certain way to attract certain type of guys. So I always say, instead of doing all of that, just be who you are and be yourself and be comfortable with who you are, and then you're going to actually attract people who are into who you are. You understand? So that's the thing. I always look at it like this, is that, everybody's an individual, and, if you're tapping into who you really are, then you're going to attract a whole bunch of people who are into how you are and the type of person you are. So always look at it like, let's say, I always use the example of like a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Wendy's restaurant. It's like, they all sell burgers, but if you want a McDonald's burger, you have to go to McDonald's. So whoever is attracted to the taste of McDonald's burgers have to go to McDonald's. You don't see McDonald's trying to act like Burger King. You don't see Burger King trying to really act like McDonald's. They just do their own thing, and whoever wants that specific burger or whatever is going to go to those specific stores. So it's the same thing with you, is that you just be you and how you are, and then the people who are attracted to you are going to gravitate to you. You understand? So you don't have to pretend to be somebody else to get a certain type of person or these type of people. Just be who you are. You're going to attract a whole bunch of different people, and then that's when your relationships are going to work out the best, because those are the people who are basically, going to accept you for who you are, and they're not going to try to change you because they're already like you, how you are naturally. You see what I mean? And that's the thing that people got to understand.
So in other words, be real. Don't catfish people out here.
Right,
be
exactly.
yourself. Be real. Okay, we're talking to Mr. Locario. He's breaking down the dating game, and he's giving us some rules for success. If you want to be a part of it, you could call us at 347-996-3160. All right, so let's keep it rolling. We got about 20 minutes on the clock, so I want to make sure to get in as much as we can. What's next?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I would say that another thing for people to realize is that, dating is essentially a numbers game. And what that means is that you have to continuously, talk to, approach, go out on dates with a number of different people. This goes for men and women. And I think once you understand that and you accept that, then your dating life will be a little bit more easier and actually will make more sense to you, because this is the thing, like, if you meet a lot of people, and so you'll hear people talk about, oh, my dating life sucks, or I can't find anybody. And, I meet these type of people every day, so they tell me these things, and then I'll tell her, I'll ask a woman, I'll be like, how many dates have you went on this month? And she'll be like, oh, only one. You understand? And I'm like, well, that's why your relationships aren't working, because you only went out with one person. You understand? But the thing is that you have to continuously, go out and talk to different people, because that's when you start to meet more people, and the more people you meet, the more likely you're going to find someone that clicks and that connects with you. It's the same thing with, like, if you're doing sales. If I'm trying to sell encyclopedias door to door, I can't just go to one or two doors and say, hey, yeah, I tried this selling encyclopedia stuff, it doesn't work, and I only went to two doors. You understand? So I have to keep going door to door until somebody's ready to sell. So it's the same thing with relationships. You got to keep talking to people, having conversations, going out, asking people out, doing this type of stuff until you actually, connect with a certain person or people that you want to be with. And the thing is that a lot of people don't understand that it is a numbers game. And I think that once a person understands that it is a numbers game, then they'll feel a little bit better in actually the actual process and actually doing it. Because I think the ignorance of not knowing that, it is a numbers game, that messes people up. So it's the same thing where I always say it like this, like, let's say if you were in college and you told somebody, hey, you should get your bachelor's degree, and then the person would be like, all right, cool, I get my bachelor's degree because, I want to get the bachelor's degree so I could probably get a better job, whatever. And then they go to college and then they quit after 3 months. And then they'll be like, dude, I went to college and I still didn't get my bachelor's degree. It's been 3 months. And you're looking at them funny because you're like, dude, don't you know that it's going to take at least 4 years for you to get your bachelor's degree? And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. You understand? So that's the thing with the relationships and knowing it's a numbers game. People don't know it's a numbers game. So they'll say, I tried to date and it doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, how many people have you talked to this month? Only 2. And then I'm like, dude, you should be talking to like at least 10, 15 people a day. So like they didn't know that that's what they're supposed to do. You see what I mean? And that's why they're not getting success, because they didn't know it was a numbers game. So even when guys are out here trying to talk to women, it's like, yo, if you're outside with your boys and y'all are, partying at the club or just at an event or, you're at a lounge, even if you're at a grocery store, have conversations with women, talk to women, say, hey, you seem cool. Here's my number. Give me a call sometime. We should go out. That's what should be happening continuously. But it's like people, they get lazy and they talk to 1 or 2 people, and then it's like, that's why, and they're like, my dating life sucks and I tried and this and that, but they didn't know that it's supposed to be a numbers game. You see what I mean? And that's why they are not having success. You see what I mean? Gotcha.
You gotta put those numbers in. Okay.
Right.
What's the next one? Give me a good one. This one has to be a good one.
Okay, yeah, this one's for the guys. And I talk about this actually in my ebook, the Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men, where I say, guys shouldn't try to be friends with women. And basically, yeah, exactly. So
okay.
Yeah. So what that means, is a lot of times, when guys, and this is the thing, when you're approaching women and you're talking to women and you're out here dating, whatever, you always need to approach women as if you're, sexually or romantically interested in them. Like, that should be a habit. You understand? Because the thing is that a lot of times guys, when they talk to women, they talk to women on some type of neutral type of thing, like they're talking to a friend. And what happens is that when they talk to women as a friend, then the woman sees them as a friend. They don't see them as like a sexual partner or a partner they would want to get with. So they're giving off too many of these friendly vibes, and then that's how guys get in the friend zone. That's how guys don't really get women to like really take them seriously as far as like a partner, because they're not giving off the energy of a guy who's, sexually interested in them, who's romantically interested in them. So I always tell guys when they first approach women, they can, they're supposed to approach them as if you're actually trying to get with them. Unless, and the thing is, you could be friends with women, but there's exceptions. Like if there's a woman you're unattracted to, then yeah, you could probably, it's like whatever, we could be friends because I'm not really attracted to you like that anyway. Or if you already had sex with a woman and y'all are just cool, like let's say you had sex and it really didn't work out as far as like y'all continuously seeing each other or whatever like that, y'all can still remain friends because since you had sex with her, you're still being the guy who has sexual energy. So basically what it is that you have to, get in the habit of being a sexual guy when it comes to relationships with women, because what it does is that it makes all your interactions with women a little bit more easier. So let's say when you do see that girl, that really hot girl you want to talk to at a bar or at a club or at an event, you've already conditioned yourself to respond to women in a sexual manner instead of just being on some friendly stuff. Because if you continuously do the friendly stuff, the opposite is going to happen, that every time you see women that you want to get with, you're going to approach them because in a friendly way, because you've been conditioning yourself to act just like a platonic friend to women. You see what I mean? So this is what I mean when you have to be in a certain type of mind state when you're dealing with girls and talking to women, even if it's sometimes to the point where you might be talking to a woman, you're not even technically trying to get with her, but your vibe is still continuous and congruent with being a man who approaches women in a sexual and romantic manner, because you have to keep that on, 90-95% of the time, because when you actually see the woman you want it to be automatic. And if it's not automatic, it's going to be automatic. If it's not automatic in that way, it's going to be automatic in the opposite way, which is the friendly type of dude. And that's how you're going to be missing out on getting women. And they're going to be like, how come all these women aren't calling me back? How come all these women just want to be friends? And it's like you're creating that. You understand? And so that's why I always tell guys, don't try to be friends with women. Try to have that sexual interest first, and then if you figure out that it doesn't work out between you guys, then yeah, you could be cool, but don't try the opposite way of trying to just be a friend first and then try to do some romantic stuff and sexual stuff later, and it doesn't really work that way. You see what I mean?
You have this rule about the time that you speak to women. Like you say, when you're talking to a woman, you should not speak to them for more than 10 minutes or something like that.
Oh yeah, well, I say like when you first approach a woman, depending like if you're just trying to pick up girls, like let's say if you're out on the street or you're at a bar or something, I always say keep it short, between like 2 and 3 minutes, and cut to the chase, get exchange numbers. I say the only time to keep talking to a woman is if you're in a situation for an extended period of time, and there's obviously a connection between you two where you guys are, it's like the conversation is progressing and you can see that you guys are feeling each other. So if you're at a party and you're talking to a girl and y'all are flirting with each other and you're having fun and y'all getting all touchy-feely, then yeah, continuously you can keep talking to her. But if you're in the street and you see a girl walking by and you want to stop her, just only talk to her for a minute or two and get her number, give her your number, and then keep her moving. Because the more that you stay there and you keep talking and talking, sometimes it backfires on you, because then you end up saying something else that, because she might have been feeling you, and then you said this one thing, and it's like, oh, okay, this guy is, like she's turned off now, and then now she's gone, instead of you just like keeping the momentum up and say, yeah, I'll just give you a call later, we'll get together and then make it happen. You understand? So it's like that type of thing, to like keep it quick and keep it light, especially like in the street or when you have limited amount of time to talk to women. So keep it between like 1 to 2, maybe 3 minutes the most. You know what I mean?
Now let me ask you something, because there are a number of people that are listening or hear this later on that may be a bit older. They may be in they already have relationships, marriages, and they've ended. And they're kind of getting back into the dating role, but it's a bit different. They may not be looking for the multiple dating partners or multiple sex partners. They may be looking for maybe that second real love affair. Do these rules apply to them?
Yeah.
Would you recommend these type of rules?
Definitely. I would say, like, let's say if a person is in their 40s or 50s and stuff, you still have to go out and meet a number of different people. You might not have to do in the same vein as maybe someone in their 20s or 30s, but even if you're 50, you might, let's say you want someone your age who's also 50, you might want to go online. There's a lot of online sites that have sites for even people for, who are mature, like 50 and older. You know what I mean? You might want to check that out, or you might go to an event that's like a singles. They usually have like speed dating events for people in their 40s or older. So there's different things, but you still either way have to go out with, and go out and meet different people, because just because you're 50 and this other person's 50, that don't mean that y'all gonna get along just because y'all 50. You understand? So you're gonna need to find the person who who's in your age range if that's what you want, and that you can also get along with. You understand what I'm saying? So and it's funny because it's the same thing. Like I had someone ask me about that with somebody was saying that about Christian people, because I remember I was talking to this one girl. She was a Christian, and she was like, she needs to find a Christian man. And I said, yeah. I was like, you can definitely do that, but you got to put the effort forth to do that, because it's not just about you finding a Christian guy. You have to find a Christian guy that you like and who likes you. You see what I mean? So, and that's where the effort comes in. So that's where people need to understand that you still, either way, no matter what you're looking for, there's going to be some part that you have to play in order to find that and find what you're looking for.
Okay. All right. I think we got time for one more tip, because I do want to give you an opportunity to give people a chance to connect with you. So give me one more quick one more rule for successful dating. Right.
I would say for men and women, I would say the most important thing also, and what another big important thing is, don't let fear stop you from having a successful dating life. And I think a lot of times we let the fear of failure or the fear of even success sometimes get in the way of us finding someone that we can connect with and having good relationships. Because a guy might fear that, I've talked to 20 girls and none of them gave me their number, so he has this fear like, well, no girls like me and everything. And it's like, no, keep talking and work on your skills of conversation and all this other stuff. Get help if you need it, but it's like, go to this 21st girl and the 22nd girl, and those might be the girls who's going to say yes. Some women have a fear of getting hurt because they got hurt in their last relationship. I'm like, okay, well, every guy that you meet is a new guy, so this is a new opportunity of you being able to meet someone and connect with them, but you have to be right within yourself, and you can't have that fear in your heart. Because if you do, you're going to bring that baggage to that next relationship, and that could have been someone you connected with, but they really couldn't connect with you because you weren't present in the moment. You were just being fearful and you were being scared, and that fearful, scared side was coming out instead of the authentic, side of you that he could have really connected with. You see what I mean? So I think a lot of times if a person is just, put aside that fear and not really make that fear stop them from doing it, they can really make it happen. And you might still be scared. You might still have that little fear in your heart, but it's like, don't let it stop you from actually going out there and making things happen, and just work on, making the fear subside while you're out there making things happen. So I think, if people, get rid of their fears, they'll be pretty good,
Okay, let me just do a follow-up on that, because I think that's a really good point, because I think fear, I know fear stops a lot of people. I say that in my coaching practice. It stops a lot of people from going out there and starting their businesses. Give me one real tip, one way that people can really stop that fear or move past that fear, because it's really easy to say, hey, right, you don't let your fear stop you. You got to go out there. But when you're in that moment and, you see that guy or you see that girl that you really want to talk to, in the, right, especially like in a public setting like a lounge, what's one trick that you can get yourself to just get up and go over there and really just have that conversation?
Right. I mean, well, you know what it is? It's really kind of like being bold. It's kind of, I actually have this thing where I have a program about approach anxiety, and I talk about this thing called the Band-Aid method, where you know when you have a Band-Aid and it's been stuck on you for a little bit, and then when you're trying to pull it off, it hurts, you know what I mean? And so instead of trying to pull it off little by little, you just rip it off really quick. You just get it over with, you know what I mean? So you kind of just rip it off really quick. And then so the same thing if a guy, if he sees a woman, he might be hesitating, he might be thinking about it for a while, and it's just, instead of doing that, just be super bold and just go up and say, hey, how you doing? And then whatever happens, let it happen, because usually the fear is it's all created in your mind. So like all the stuff that you have a fear about is really not real, because you don't really know what's going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to be the outcome of you going to say hi. So it's about you understanding that, you know, that type of thing where it's like, well, let me just do it and then see what happens. So you got to just go out there and just make it happen and be bold and forget about the fear for a second, because you'll still be fearful while you're doing it. You might still be scared, but then once you do it, you'll start to see that the fear subsides after a while once you've done it. It's the same way where people have a fear of going on stage and performing or getting on stage and saying something, and it's like a lot of people say once they've gotten on the stage, the fear wasn't there anymore. It was just the thought of doing it. So once you do it, you start to, the reality starts to set in, and you say to yourself, well, you know what, this really isn't that bad, because what happens is once the reality takes over, you know, that's what you're focusing on. You're focusing on the reality now, and the reality, it basically, in most cases, crushes the fear that you had. Even if you went up to the girl and she rejected you, you would say, you start to feel, and I've heard this with a lot of guys I work with, they were like, hey, you know, I got rejected, but it doesn't feel as bad as I thought. You understand? So it's like a lot of the times that your thinking about it is so powerful, and all you need to do is actually do it in real time and actually make it happen in real life of what the fear you have. And then once you do that, you'll be in the actual situation, and then you can actually assess it. You can't assess it and you can't get past it unless you do it. So it's really about you being bold enough to actually take the action to do it first, and then you'll see like, okay, well, this isn't this bad. I'm actually talking to this girl right now. I'm actually, you know, the woman might say, I'm actually going out with this guy. I'm actually taking the chance to see this guy, even though I'm scared, I haven't been on a date for a while or whatever. And then once you go there, you see that you probably have a really good time. But none of that would have happened unless you took that bold action to make it happen. You understand? So it's really important that people understand that point. Definitely.
All right, cool, man. So, listen, you've dropped a lot of knowledge on us today, and you shared some really key insights. If someone wants to connect with you, find out some more information, view your videos, your website, or possibly work with you, where can they do that?
Yeah, definitely. You can go to my site, MrLocario.com. That's MrLocario.com. And if you go there right now, you can get my free ebook, The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men. So that's for the guys. And for the ladies, I have an audio program called 7 Highly Effective Steps to Finding and Keeping a Man. So you can get both of those for free at MrLocario.com. And I also have a membership program that you should join. It's awesome. And every month I give you a 45 to 90-minute lecture and audio about dating and relationships, step-by-step tutorial stuff you can follow. So you can get that at MrLocario.com. Also, just click on the members tab. And if you want any coaching, you can just hit me up on the site. Also, just click on the coaching tab and send me some of your information. All the information will be there on what you have to do, and that'll be it. And also, if you want to get in contact with me straight away, just hit me up at askmrlocario@gmail.com. And and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Wow. So yes, there's a lot of different ways to get in contact. I stumbled upon you through YouTube. Your YouTube videos are great. You give away a lot of good free content, so I would definitely recommend to anybody they want to find out more about Mr. Locario and what he does. You just go there and really get a flavor for what he does. Listen, it's been a really, really great time spending time with you. Listen, I know you call yourself the bad boy of the dating game, but really I think you're a real man. You're the real dude. You keep it real. You spit the real.
I try.
Keep it real. So listen, I'm definitely going to have you back if you're up for it. I think there's a lot of different things that we can talk about specifically for men. Some things we could definitely talk about specifically for women, but we're gonna, we'll do that in a future date. I want to thank you for coming on, and man, listen, great things for you.
Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate you having me.
All right, man. Thanks. All right. So
later.
Later. So that's our episode for this week. Join us next week, Tuesday at 9:00, and we will definitely have something new for you. Thanks for listening, and have a great night. Whew. Hello, can you hear me?
Step up your dating game and join dating coach Mr. Locario's Bad Boy and Bad Girl membership program. By becoming a member, you will receive 45 through 90-minute audio and video step-by-step dating advice tutorials every month that are guaranteed to help you get what you want out of your dating life. Go to MrLocario.com to join today. That's MrLocario.com. MrLocario.com.